Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
Meeting will come to order. The legal voters of the town of Athens are hereby notified and warned to act on the following article and elect select board members required by law on the 26th day of April 2020 at 6 p.m. at the Athens Elementary School. Voting for the select board members will be by Australian ballots. The polls have been open until from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. at the former Athens Elementary School. The polls for the voting will close at 7 o'clock, regardless of this meeting going over that time. So if you have not voted, you should vote within the next hour. Article 1, to see if the town will decrease the select board from 5 to 3 select board members. The clerk will read the checklist.
Elizabeth Agostini, Susan Ahn, Amy Aldrich. Here. Scott Aldrich. Amanda Alsvig. Here. Cherie Alsvig. Here. Eric Alsvig. Here. Shirley Alsvig. Here. Elise Amana. Emily Amana. Crystal Amadon. Bridget Anderson. Jean Anderson. Catherine Anderson. Robert Anderson. Witchy Artu. Present. Douglas Avery. Michael Bates.
Yeah.
David Bemis.
Here.
Faith Bemis. Jacqueline Bemis. Anthony Benware. Sean Benware.
Yes.
Mark Berman. Tamara Berman. Catherine Bialy. Carol Bingham. Loretta Bissonette. Here.
Carol Bingham said
That
yes.
was Carol?
Yeah.
Jason Bissonette. William Borsey.
Yep.
Michelle Woolris. Kathleen Bova. Here. Robert Bova. Mary Brass. Nora Bright. Russell Brown. Richard Bubar. Kelsey Birch. Peter Burdo. David Burns. Donald Caponcelli.
Here.
Sandra Caponcelli. Here. Addie Chase. Charles Chase. James Chase. Heather Shodor. April Clough.
Here.
John Clough. Corey Coburn. Hillary Took. Cassandra Crane. Nathaniel Crane. Barbara Crosby. Donna Courier.
Here.
Candace Damon. Emily Davignon. Elaine Davis. Elmer Davis.
Here.
Kenneth Davis. Mary Davis. Leonard Derby III. Paul DeRosu. Frederick Drawart. Carmen Dresser. Anita Doobie. Austin Doobie. Landon Doobie. Aaron Dunleavy. Don Elliott. Jane Elliott. Joshua Ferentz. Ilyana Fine. Rebecca Fine. Stephen Fine. Cora Fletcher. Timothy Fletcher. Douglas Francis. Susan Garrow. Gary Gay. Krista Gay. Here. Tammy Gay. Sabrina Gibbs. Here. Scott Gibbs.
Here.
Roger Gillespie. Sandra Gillespie. Christopher Glebus. Deborah Glebus. Stephen Godfrey. Melissa Goyette. Mark Grieco. Jonathan Griffin. Jesse Grover. Nathan Guest. Bradley Gwynn. William Hall. Ralph Harris. Tammy Harris. David Hassan. Kim Healy. Valerie Hebert. Brian Hernan. Emretta Hinman. Bonnie Hitchcock. Here. Diane Hitchcock. Here. Cole Hitchcock. Raymond Hitchcock. Here. Scott Hitchcock. Bartlett Holmes. Jacqueline Holmes. Gretchen Horton. Jean Hoteling. Debbie Houle. Michael Houle. Michael R. Houle. Dennis Hunt. Here. Karen Hunt.
Here.
Beverly Hutchins.
Here.
Thomas Hutchins.
Here.
Lori Indenbaum.
Here.
Samuel Indenbaum. David Jacobson.
Here.
Carmen Jones, Jabari Jones, Philip Jones, Nina Kendall, Elaine Kais, Valerie Kosidnar, Joanna Lake,
Here.
Christine Larson, Taylor Larson, Angela Lashway, Lima Leland, Caleb Lemieux, Patricia Lentz, Isaac Leslie,
Here.
Joseph Levangie, John Lindblad, Linda Lindblad, Samuel Lockerbie, Carl Long, April Lyman, Doug Lyman,
Here.
James Mabe III, Mary Mabe, Terry Mabe, Carista Machado, John Majowski,
Here.
Virginia Majowski,
Here.
Deborah Mack,
Here.
Kevin Mack, Cheryl Marr,
Here.
Jonathan Maloney, Manny Mansbach, Edmund Martin, Megan Maskell, Pat McCaffrey, William McGivney, Tracy Miller Sweet, Abigail Miner, Dennis Moranti Sr., Ellen Moranti, Grace Mooney, Lynn Morgan, Philip Morgan, James Neathawk,
Here.
Timothy Neathawk,
Here.
Derek Norris, Michelle Norris, Machiko Northrop, Alyssa Noyes, Corey Noyes,
Here.
Daniel Noyes,
Here.
Harold Noyes,
Here.
Nathaniel Noyes, Patricia Noyes, Rebecca Noyes, Tanya Noyes, Tracy Noyes, Stephen Oakes, John Oberling,
Here.
Jeffrey Pilecki, Abijah Palmerguest, Judith Palmerguest, Jeremy Peach, Eleanor Perry, Elizabeth Perry. Who was that? Elizabeth? Janet Perry,
Here.
Matthew Perry,
Here.
Michael Perry,
Here.
Andrea Phillips, Rita Pichette, Benjamin Picks, Justin Poulin, Peter Prescott,
Yeah.
Doreen Pugh, Denise Randall,
Here.
Elizabeth Randall, Frederick Randall,
Here.
Joshua Randall, Sarah Rattett, Hannah Redier, yep, Sheila Ritchie, Kenneth Roberts,
Here.
Eric Rosenblum,
Here.
Joshua Ross, Nicole Ross, Lucius Rumrill, Philip Rumrill, Don Ruitt Jackson, Judy Ruitt Jackson, Pamela Russo, Evan Sabatelli, Marianne Shaughnessy, Matthew Shea, Eric Shearing, Sarah Sheltra, Dean Silver, Susan Silver, George Simmons Jr., George Simmons, Donna Simino, Philip Simino, Lois Sippel, Barbara Smith, Brianna Smith, Daniel Smith, Jennifer Smith, Dwayne Snide, Irvin Snide Jr. Who was that?
Irvin Snide.
Irvin Snide, sorry. Mary Sonicson, Alexa Spivey, Alexandra Steele, Amber Stevens,
Here.
Dolly F.H. Stevens, Ivor Stevens,
Here.
Lane Stevens, Morgan Stevens, Timothy Stevenson,
Here.
Matthew Stickney, Wayne Stone, Harry Streeter, Alexis Taylor, Daniel Taylor,
Here.
Kylie Taylor, Linda Taylor, Tara Taylor, Thomas Taylor,
Here.
Tyson Taylor,
Here.
Nicole Tabaldi, Adrian Tenney, Bruce Tenney Jr.,
Here.
Bruce Tenney Sr., Matthew Tenney, Gerald Tenney, Patricia Tenney, Jonathan Thomas, Edward Todd, Joyce Todd, Andrew Tepfer,
Here.
Mark Trankman, Mark Trenholm,
Here.
Crystal Trimble, James Trimble,
Here.
Linda Tripodi, Jesse Unwin, Kenneth Unwin, Andrew Valov, Brian Valov, Renee Van Kuren, Kane Vitale, Louis Vitale, Sarah Vitale, Margaret Walker, Terrence Walker.
Here.
Anna Warren.
Here.
David Warner. Amiko Warias. Stephen Warias. Jay White. Raymond White. Tina White.
Here.
Bruce Whitman. Russell Wickberg. Deborah Wicker. Devin Wicker. Zachariah Wicker. Michelle Wilkins. Ralph Wilkins.
Yeah.
Jenna Williams. Jimmy Williams. Sharon Williams. Henry Woodbury. Catherine Woodbury. Darlene Wyman.
Here.
Jacqueline Whippler.
Has anybody come in that did not have their name called off?
Emily Mana.
Is there anybody else?
Stephen Lake.
What's your name?
Nathaniel Crane.
Is that it for people that have not had their name called?
Who's in the back? I think I got you, Carol. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
All right. A few things before we get started. The meeting will be run by Robert's Rules of Order. We're not in conflict with Vermont law. Anybody that is wishing to speak will be called on by the moderator. You will address your information to the moderator. There shall not be back and forth between members of the assembly. As I said, the voting in the back will close at 7 o'clock regardless of how long this meeting takes. After consulting with the Secretary of State, when this petition initially came to us to hold this special town meeting to the Select Board, it was believed that this would be a reconsideration of the article that was voted in March. The Deputy Secretary of State has said because the article that was presented to us on the petition was not the exact language of the article that was voted in March, that this should not be considered a reconsideration, but this is a new town meeting, a new vote on this article. And whoever is elected tonight from the Select Board, regardless of how this goes, how Article 1 goes, the two people elected tonight will be serving on the Select Board for at least 31 days if the board is reduced to 3 members from the 5-member board. With that, Article 1, to see if the town will decrease the Select Board from 5 to 3 Select Board members. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Is there discussion?
Second. Oh. I was gonna.
Don was seconding.
Okay. Tim, do you have?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a funny meeting for me. I don't even know why it's happened. I've been thinking about this for weeks in anticipation. A majority of citizens voted for this back at town meeting, and it seems to me that their will should be honored for a while to find out how this works. It may be a failure. It may not work. But the good thing about it, the good news, is that we can always change it. We're not locking ourselves into something that is irreparable. One of the things that's really struck me is that I have not heard any reason to change. Now, when the idea was originally put forth by people, it was said, it's so hard to find people in this town to serve in positions. Well, we have, 3 candidates back there that you can choose from? I think we had 4 at one time. So that reason doesn't seem to hold water. And I don't know of any other reason. And what I would really like to encourage is that those who put together this petition, please stand up and let us know why we should vote for it. Why should we change the will of the voters from town meeting to this? I don't understand it. I don't have any reason to vote for it. And in fact, I encourage all of you not to vote for it, to turn it down, to give it a chance, to see what happens. For me, the opportunity here is to perhaps add some energy to the select board, add some light, encourage perhaps some new people to step forward and run for the positions that would be available. We have lots of nice young people in this town right now that have moved here. I'd like to encourage them to get involved. We need that kind of energy in here. And I feel like moving to a 5-person board would perhaps present that opportunity. It may not. It may be a bust. I don't know. I'm voting against this because I want to find out. I want to find out if a 5-person board works. And if it doesn't, I'll be right there to vote against it when we try to get rid of it. So please, folks, think this over. Think what you're doing tonight. Come, have at least a reason for doing it. And as I said a moment ago, I really encourage those who put together this petition to let us know why we should vote for it, why we should support it. Because right now, I don't know. Thank you for listening.
All right. John?
Well, I was one of the people that signed the petition, and yeah, I was here for the regular town meeting, and it was like a 26 to 23 vote. And when I signed the petition, I thought it was the issue was worthy of reconsideration. Now, I echo Tim's sentiment that, you know, it would be great to get some new faces involved in town government. There's a lot of responsibility living in a small town. The problem is we keep shuffling around the same people for different positions. The 3 people that are running now are already serving other positions in this town. We've had an auditor position that's gone unfilled for years. We have had no representation to the Union High School Board for several months since Steve Fine left town, but I understand we have somebody that's seeking an appointment now, and the guy's involved in he's wearing other hats in town. You know, we do need other people, and we just, the sentiment I expressed at town meeting is we just don't have enough people serving right now. Maybe this would be good at a date future, but I question the motive for the original article to begin with, so there we go.
Somebody else? Okay.
Well, if that is the reason, it was proven wrong because there were enough people to run. So giving it a year and seeing how it works seems like the reasonable thing to do. And it was an article that was in the town report. So people had a chance ahead of time. And when you see the people here, there are people that don't come to select board meetings. They don't come to town meetings. And if the same effort was put before town meeting to educate and tell people that they didn't think it was a good idea, why didn't they do it then? They wait, and then, to me, it seems like a fear factor that they can't wait a year out to see what happens. Like Tim said, it might not work, but we have people running. Someone's going to be elected in tonight, and I don't see anything wrong with waiting a year and see what happens.
Bruce?
If you vote for a 5-member panel, you're going to bring 30, 40 years of the past right back into the future. That's what's going to happen.
Anybody else?
David, could he repeat? Some of us didn't hear what he said. Could he just repeat that, please? It was short and simple.
I said if you have a 5-person panel, you're going to bring 30, 40 years of the past right back into the future. Same thing's gonna start happening all over again. Everything the town's gained, they're gonna lose.
Wishy?
Yeah, Wichi, I definitely signed a petition last time to put for 5-member board, and the reason why I signed that original was because me as a volunteer on the Athens Town Weather Emergency Committee, I kept seeing that there were a lot of sort of missteps that could have been handled by a select board member or a paid member of official of the town, such as the hazard mitigation plan that was like expired, and then when we didn't find that out until we had the floods in July. And I feel like there's plenty of duties that have to happen for the town that I think having more than 3 people could really help on that, instead of having more and more duties fall on volunteers like me and others on that committee. I think it's also important to name a little bit of the elephant on the room, that there are only 3 people on the select board, and one of them is the mother of one of the town employees. So whenever there's an executive session to talk about a town employee, because of the way our laws work, that person has to recuse themselves, and then there's only 2 people talking about a decision about a town employee. So by adding that from 3 to 5, it provides a lot more leeway and flexibility, because we're all going to have conflict of interest on that select board because we're a small town. So having that 5 people allows that kind of room for more perspectives in the discussion, especially when there's this conflict of interest. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, David, I'm curious. Can you tell us approximately what kind of increase in the cost to the town carrying an additional 2 select board members would be?
I think about $1.02 a day. Anybody else? Sandy?
I was one of the people that circulated the second petition around, and I only did it because I felt at this time period, with some things that are going on in town, it was probably not the best time to switch to a 5-person select board. And I decided to run for that particular reason. My curiosity gets me to the place of, so if I win tonight, which one of you is going to step up and be the new lister? Because I can't do it. Which one of you is going to do it? Which one of you younger people is going to take this responsibility that I've had for 25 years? Who's going to do it? I mean, it is great to say we got a few new people. We've had an auditor's position open for almost 3 years. Where's the person to step up for that? Where are the people to step up for many hats that I personally wear, which I do not do grudgingly? I do it because I feel this town needs some people to help it. But a lot of you just sit there and bitch and moan, and none of you step to the front. None of you steps up to the plate and supports this town. You just complain about it.
All right. Anybody else? Sherry?
I supported the 5-person board at town meeting. I'm really pleased to see so many of you here tonight to ask this question again. It was a close vote at town meeting. I've heard some good points as to why it would make a lot of sense to try this out for a year. That's my personal position, is that we have now a 5-person board with 2 open seats. Those seats will be filled after the ballots are counted tonight. Rather than just letting that be a 31-day process, let's let it go for a year. What I'm encouraged by is the fact that at March's town meeting, one of the other changes that was made was that we will have our next town meeting at, I believe it was 6 o'clock on the Monday prior to the first Tuesday. And given the turnout that I see here tonight, then I'm confident that we could have another pretty good turnout for town meeting come March 2023. So, again, let's try it out for a year. We have 3 candidates to fill 2 slots. As I think Witchy just articulated rather well, we do have conflict of interest issues, so having 5 people will eliminate that. 3 people willing to step up. Sandy just made a really interesting point about the Lister piece, and hopefully somebody will think about that. There may be some interest here from someone else to become a Lister. But right now the question is our select board. And I hope that the 2 people who win the vote tonight will have an opportunity to actually serve out a term. And the other piece that I think is very beneficial to the town is that when we come to town meeting next year, if we maintain this, then we're actually voting for 3 select board members next year, 2 one-year seats and a 3-year seat. And I think that's a great way to continue to get new energy into the town. So I urge people to vote no.
Is there anybody else who wants to speak? If not, are you ready for the question? Article 1, to see if the town will decrease the select board from 5 to 3 select board members.
Paper ballot?
Is there 7 people that request a paper ballot? There are 7. It will be a paper ballot. A yes will be to decrease the select board from 5 members to 3. A no will be to keep it at 5 members. If nobody, we have paper up here. If somebody cannot come up here, do not give the ballot to your friend. A justice of the peace will come up and take the ballot for you. Has everybody voted that's entitled to vote? Has everybody voted? If not, I will declare the ballot box closed. Kate Bova, Steve Oakes, and Denise Randall.
Denise Randall.
What are you going to do at 5? I got the first 2 there. Get them out. Results of your vote. 90 votes were cast. 45 yes, 45 no. Article 1 was not approved. There will be a 5-member select board. Is there any other business come before said meeting? Oh, wait a minute. Go ahead, Don. You have a question?
No, other business.
Is there any further business come before the meeting? Don.
Yeah, a little more than a month from now, over in Grafton, Tuesday, May 24th, at 7 p.m. over in Grafton, we get to decide the future of our K-8 school board. So that's an important one to attend as well.
Where?
The Grafton Elementary School.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And there's a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.